I can't breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do and you choke me.
So then it's like, we decided to play hide and seek, right? Okay. So he gets in the suitcase. The problem is I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information.
Now for what's tipping the scales of justice, will time run out for Sarah Boone's appeal? She's serving a sentence of life in prison for murdering her boyfriend, Jorge Torres. And we covered her trial, as you remember, very closely. She zipped him up in a suitcase and would not let him out. The evidence showed that she also beat that suitcase with a baseball bat when he was inside of it and left him overnight to die.
This is a box. This is the box where Jorge Torres was killed. It's a small box, 28 by 20 by 8 7/8 inches.
Now, Sarah Boone has indicated she is taking an appeal. However, that's just part of the process. There's a notice that's been posted on the docket saying she's got less than 20 days to file her brief or the appeal is dismissed. Not that she's been the easiest client, we know that. She's reportedly gone through 10 attorneys. Yes, 10, you heard me correctly. And we're lucky enough to have one of those attorneys joining us live this morning. Sarah Boone's former attorney, Frank Bankowitz, is joining us live from Florida. Frank, good morning to you. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Good morning.
Would you walk us through this process, please? Would this be it? If she misses this 20-day deadline, is it over for her and life in prison it will be?
Yes, that's basically it. If the Court of Appeals has entered an order saying she's got 20 days to file her initial brief and she fails to do it, they can dismiss the appeal and she has no recourse after.
Wow. Frank, any idea what the holdup could be? Because she seemed eager to appeal the decision.
Well, I don't know who's actually handling the appeal. I'm not sure if her trial attorney has handled it or she's been appointed at the public defender's office. Usually the public defender's office is very, very cognizant of deadlines and because they have an appellate division. Private attorneys sometimes miss deadlines, unfortunately. Whoever's doing it can probably request an extension of that 20 days. And those extensions are normally granted at least on one occasion.
Sure. Do you think Sarah Boone will, or should I say was, as difficult with her appellate lawyer as she was with you and the other trial attorneys that tried so hard to fight for her?
Well, she's going to have a lot less access to that attorney because obviously she's serving her sentence at this point. She's in prison, probably in the women's prison in Lowell, Florida, which is near Ocala. And her public defender is somewhere in Polk County, which is probably 100 miles or so away. So, she'll have telephone contact and probably some internet contact, but it'll be very much limited to what she had previously.
Mm-hmm. Frank, do you think Sarah Boone has been her own worst enemy in so much as if she had considered some type of plea agreement with the state of Florida, that perhaps she could still be out of prison for some of her life?
Oh, yes. Yeah, she was her own worst enemy. Well, when I had the case, I had an offer which I recommended to her, which would have been in 15 years in Department of Corrections with credit for all the time she served, and she rejected that. And it's my understanding the state offered that right up to a point of trial, to the point of jury selection, and she continued to deny responsibility and started a trial. and she got a trial.
Wow. And for anybody who may need a refresher, I mean, this was around the year 2020, and she was, you know, in for almost 5 years' time, if I remember correctly. So, as you said, credit for time served would amount to her not having to do that full 15. She'd get credit for what she's already done. Wow, that's really something. Our thanks to Frank Bankowitz. I believe we just lost his signal. I would love to ask our in-studio guest a question if we have some time. Attorney Matthew Mangino standing by. Matthew, tell me, Sarah Boone not taking that deal, what do you think as a prosecutor? How generous was that to say 15 years credit for time served? I believe she was in her mid-40s at this point in time when she rejected that.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a generous plea in retrospect. We're looking back, you know, 2020 vision is always good in terms of hindsight, looking back on something. But in this situation, you know, she could have raised the defense of battered woman syndrome and all those sort of things. So the prosecution may have been concerned about that. There was some history of domestic violence, but you know, going through 8 attorneys, you know, is not going to be helpful in any way in terms of having some continuity to your defense. And now, you know, she's on the verge of losing out on her appeal, which may have some merit in terms of the fact, you know, don't forget the judge at one point said she loses the right to court-appointed counsel and things like that. There may be some issues here that are ripe for review on an appellate level, and you certainly don't want those to slip away at this point.
Oh, that's a really great point. Matthew Mangino, thank you so much for that.